And welcome to another episode of the Looming Horizon. I'm Maverick, and there's so much for us to discuss today. And I'm going to try and make this video as compact, but also as engaging as possible. First, what I recommend is taking a seat, because what we've had going on, where 37 companies get together over the last week and announce they're going to save AI from itself. 37, right? That's not an alliance. That's a group chat that needed its own press office. Okay, so NVIDIA's in there, Microsoft's in there, IBM showed up, bless them, still here, still swinging. Honestly, IBM doesn't get enough credit, but that's a different conversation. Palantir's in the room, which should tell you something about the mood, okay? You have Salesforce, you have SAP, you have ServiceNow, you have Snowflake, four companies whose entire business model is we will organize your spreadsheet for a recurring fee, all standing shoulder to shoulder for the cause of open, secure AI. They're calling it the Open Secure AI Alliance. Now, say that with a straight face. I've been practicing all day, so I'm a little bit more skilled at it, but try it. Open Secure AI Alliance. I could just drop the secure, put open and AI together. It's whatever. The pitch, and I'll give it to you straight because I'm not here to strawman anybody, is that they're going to build open tools for AI safety and cybersecurity. And they want policymakers to treat open models like a defensive asset instead of a liability. Fine, that might even work. Some of these outfits will ship something that actually makes the internet a little safer. I'm not going to sit here and tell you NVIDIA can't write good code. I think, that's not what we've seen. That's not what the show is tonight. The show tonight is who didn't come to the party. OpenAI, not there. Anthropic, not there. Despite Dario and the team putting out a white paper over the last few days, depending on when you hear this, describing how they are not trying to police open source models. Completely understandable. It seemed like a great PR move. The two labs everybody on Earth associates with lockdown, proprietary, you'll never see the weight AI, and somehow they couldn't find the RSVP? Every tech reporter covering this wrote the same limp little sentence. Notably, OpenAI and Anthropic did not join. Notably? That's it? That's all you've got? All right. I mean, okay. I used to sit in these rooms. OpenAI, Spotify. I was on the phone with Coinbase while FTX was on fire in real time. And I'll tell you the one rule that never breaks. Nobody skips a room like this by accident. They just don't. Okay, if you weren't invited, sure. That's just logistics. It sucks, but who do you know here is, what are you talking about? We built the industry. It's whatever. Okay, so as you continue going on, if you were invited, and everybody in this industry that gets invited to everything and you still didn't show, that's not an oversight. That's a decision. And decisions tell you what people actually believe, not what some communications team typed up for the blog post. Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the conversation. Am I going to hold myself responsible? I'm not sure that they were ever looking to do that. Sam didn't forget to check his email. Dario didn't lose the calendar invite. I'm sure both of those gentlemen have the information at their disposal to make a very solid decision. Confident in Sam, Dario. Yeah. They looked at an alliance built around open-weight AI safety and correctly clocked it as a direct shot at the entire closed model, the entire model that both of their companies are betting the farm on. So they stayed home. That's not a gap in the coalition. That is the coalition. The empty chairs are doing more talking than the people who showed up, which is amazing if you actually sit down and think about that, right? Now, let's flip it around, because this is where you actually get something out of tonight. And now, we can just rap and we can riff and we can talk about whatever's on my mind, and I can certainly do that. But that's not what this is. To me, every alliance is a market map wearing a mission statement as a costume. Every single time. There's no exceptions on that. And I've never been burned trusting that rule. Okay? So let's take the roll call. Let's take NVIDIA sells the compute. So of course, NVIDIA wants every open model on Earth needing more compute forever. That's not safety. That's a sales funnel with a press release stapled to the front. Taped. Yeah, okay. The cybersecurity crowd, whether you've got CrowdStrike, whether you've got when you have CrowdStrike in that, Palo Alto sells you the protection, and nothing sells protection like a good, scary headline, okay? It just doesn't. We've seen that play out over time, especially when it's about AI going rogue. The enterprise software names, Salesforce, SAP, ServiceNow, Snowflake, they sell the governance layer, okay? The dashboards, the compliance checkboxes, the thing your legal department sign off on so that everybody can sleep at night. If you do sleep. Some of us don't. But Palantir sells access to power itself. Let's not pretend otherwise. Let's not do that. And regulators get a room full of billion-dollar incumbents lining up to volunteer, completely unprompted, to explain to Washington what responsible openness should mean before Washington has to do any homework of its own. How convenient. Do you guys ever see the episode of The Simpsons? It's the movie, excuse me. The Simpsons movie where the gentleman, the advisor, hands the 5 files to the president and he says, "Sir, pick a plan." And he goes, "I pick number 2. That's how this reads. I was elected to lead, not to read. Okay, well, that's a farce, but that's what we see and that's what we're looking at right now, currently. Okay, now read the member list of one of those alliances, and you are not reading a coalition of concerned citizens. You are reading an org chart of a supply chain that hinted and hired a branding agency to call itself a movement. Okay, if you take that and you look at the claim that's being built, and I'm going to say it straight instead of winking at you the way most of these commentary shows do, the closed labs stayed home to protect their model. The infrastructure companies showed up to protect theirs. Nobody in this story, nobody is defending a principle, okay? Everybody is defending a stack. And whoever's actually in the room gets to write the definition for the rest of us. Every startup, every enterprise buyer, every regulator, that gets measured against later. Now, I need you to hear this part clearly, because I am not up here to tell you that this is corrupt and you should trust nobody. If you go through life thinking everyone is corrupt and everyone is out to get you all the time, as my mom used to tell me, you're not going to live a very healthy and happy life. Don't look at it like that. It's largely a cop-out. What I'm telling you is more narrow than that. And it's a skill, not a mood, okay? Follow the incentives before you accept the story. If you do that, you can find the trick alongside the treat, because there's a treat of this. But let's stop right there for a second. So cynics would all say that they're all crooks. They're not. I know some of these gentlemen. I know some of these women. They are brilliant in what they do. Do they have a bottom line? Yes. Everyone in any form, level of business has some level of a bottom line, whether you agree with them ethically or not. I'm not telling you to do business with them specifically. But I want you to go one step further than that. Okay, I want you asking who profits specifically by name before you decide who to believe. Okay, if you do that, when you hear the coined phrase AI safety, that might trick you into thinking that those are the cleanest 2 words in the entire technology industry right now. And I mean that as a compliment to whoever figured out that you can use it to sell chips, that you can use that to not just shape regulation before it's even drafted, but you can also do that to torch a competitor by painting their approach as the reckless one. Does anyone remember over the last 6 months as we've dealt with how everyone was talking with us about Anthropic being the ethical company of the 2? And now we're seeing Project Panama hit the streets where they weren't that? It's fine. I'm not here to dunk on them. I'm not going to do that. I respect their team. I think what they have done and the models they have are actually outstanding. But to limit yourself and your belief to one or the other is no better than he said, she said, and most of us are adults. okay? The announcement is never the whole story, right? The commercial architecture, when you look at that, that's what you should be weighing it against, because that's everything. If you miss that, you can be blindsided. You can go, well, man, I thought that's what this was. But if you hadn't yet pieced the puzzle together, then the puzzle's never going to fit the way that it was designed to right out of the box. Right, I would write that down. And what I would also do is, with that in mind, write it down, because after each news cycle, doesn't matter if it's 2026, doesn't matter if it's 2046, if we're still getting news, that's the way that you determine if that's a good deal or if that is a load of rubbish. The open source AI Alliance is not saving AI from corporate interests. It is corporate interests. It's a room full of people that most never get invited into, deciding in real time what saving AI is allowed to mean. If I went to ask a farmer in Iowa, or if I went to Sweden and talked with a diplomat, I'm guaranteeing you they're having two different definitions. Okay, that's the reality, folks. You know that as well as I do. The distinction here is the entire ballgame. It's not just an AI, it's everything that we do. Everywhere power is getting rebuilt right now, and most people are watching the press release instead of the room. That's the horizon. That's everything that's coming. If you judge it against those metrics, you'll be able to further understand what is happening before the next merger and acquisition takes place. I'll see you in the next conversation, where I'm sure there's going to be more and more that hits the fan, as this is just an exciting period of time. Again, I'm Maverick. Until next time, take care.